Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're doing more WNBA stuff as the playoffs are in full swing. I'm loving it, as so many people are. I want to talk about A'ja Wilson today. I meant to do this video a little while back before the playoffs, but figured it's still a good time since she and her Aces are going to have a pivotal series semifinal matchup against the Liberty starting, I think, later this week or next week at some point. A'ja was the rightful, deserving, unanimous MVP, and I kind of just wanted to break her game down and explain to maybe people who aren't as familiar with the W or her game, what makes A'ja so special, at least in my opinion, beyond her obvious, incredible statistical dominance on both ends. So let's get into this breakdown. Likes, comments, subscriptions, all of that good stuff. And A'ja, in an era where, post scoring is more prominent than, I guess, a league like the NBA, A'ja is a generational mid-range shot creator out of the post, has this little shimmy shake where she gets free from her defenders and shoots over with her great lefty touch. It's basically impossible to stop A'ja Wilson in the post. And most of these elite top-tier scorers, there are no checks among them. Even the best defenders in their league can't check them. And that's the case with A'ja. Like, yes, she'll have off nights, but generally there is nothing you can do to stop A'ja Wilson in the mid post around the elbow area. It's a beautiful step back here on Angel Reese, who had a really excellent defensive season as a rookie, but of course can't contain A'ja. Burst to the baseline, hard plant. Look at how much space she's able to generate with her front foot, like planting off of and generating power. And not like A'ja needs much separation to rise up and splash that jumper. Like, Angel able to get a pretty decent contest off there, but just doesn't matter when you have a generational shot maker like A'ja Wilson, with the kind of athletic tools and physical gifts that she has. And when A'ja gets deep post position, it really is just over. Two defenders come at A'ja, and Wilson is just gonna patiently take a dribble, fire over some defenders, and A'ja can be a little shot happy, like understandably so, just because she had to carry the Aces in a way this year that maybe she hadn't in the past years. Like Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young didn't really have their caliber of seasons. Of course, they're going to turn it up in the playoffs, but A'ja had to do more carrying than usual, I'd say. And understandably, it went really well, and she took a lot of shots, and she made a lot of shots. It's really crazy the way that she is a one-woman offense when she needs to be. And of course, the Aces have other great players and run a really good system at times with Becky Hammon, but Wilson's ability to carry an offense all by herself as a shot maker, it's a hallmark of all of these elite legendary offensive players, right? This is what they do. And A'ja is certainly one of them, winning from the post and winning from the perimeter too. A'ja's not just a post player, as Wilson is way too quick for almost all bigs to handle. Isolation with an empty side. Look how great the spacing is here. Really good job just spacing the floor here, giving Wilson a side to work. And yeah, she's just too damn quick, too fast, too strong. Great finish with her weak right hand there. Wilson can beat you from any spot on the floor pretty much, and she's so deadly as a pick and pop threat, partly because of her shooting, which we'll get to, but isolation against Aaliyah Boston, pretty solid defender, just totally shakes her out of her shoes. Again, we see a great finish with the right hand and jumping off her right foot as well. That's really difficult footwork. Off foot, off hand finish through a contest, like just very impressive finishing. And of course the ability to create advantages from the perimeter, not just with the back to her, with her back to the basket, but also facing the basket. Like, her handle is excellent for a player of her size. Again, we see closeout attack here, just incredibly good touch. You can see her finger rolling this layup from like 8-9 feet, jumping outside of the dotted line. Like, that is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful basketball A'ja Wilson plays on the offensive end of the floor. Here she is going against Fee, who I just made a video about, which should be up on the channel by the time this one goes live. I think at least I'll have her, or maybe not. Anyways, another one of the best defenders in the world, best players in the world. Great job getting interior position there, spinning back. And we see her really creatively utilizing her threat as like a dribble handoff hub to score. The Aces in so many modern basketball teams will use their bigs as initiators to like pitch to guards or to set screens, but nope, A'ja's just going to spin baseline, go to the open middle of the court. Wilson draws a foul, ends up getting to the line there. I think I might have had this clip. Oh no, this is just like a similar looking play to the last one where A'ja was able to just kind of bully her way. And there is a lot of bully ball with A'ja, just like, you're too small, you can't do anything about it. And I do think it lends to some missed passing. She's not like the most elite passer ever. Like, she probably could have hit the cutter right here for a pretty wide open shot, but it makes sense when you're A'ja Wilson and you can get your own rebound and score over everyone. So for these like super elite shot maker scorers, like, it makes sense to not want to pass as other players might need to. And Wilson's an awesome shooter too. Like, she's not a non-threat from three. Look at them like running her off of some light movement here. Like little twirlish action, not really, but pin down for A'ja. They sag off. She's comfortable hitting these light movement threes that just add to her incredibly impressive, expansive offensive toolkit. Hard to guard the aces because A'ja can also function as an off-ball spacer, right? And she can bring your rim protectors out. Angel Reese was so good defending in the paint this year, but when she's guarding Wilson on the perimeter, like, she has to pick and choose. Are you going to sit in the paint and defend, or are you going to give Wilson open threes? And neither are really great options because of the way that not only A'ja, but the rest of the aces can punish on the offensive end. And A'ja can use her threat of a shot to set up into cuts and off-ball movement. She's not just a pure on-ball black hole, right? She can really move off the ball, play this good team basketball. Jonquel is worried about her shooting, so A'ja cuts back door, ends up smoking this layup, but, you know, that's a smoke layup. But the point being, her really impressive cutting and off-ball movement. So excited for this series, by the way. I can't wait for this Aces Liberty series. It's going to be awesome. Very, very excited for it. This is also maybe my favorite play in the whole video. This is the fuck it Wilson down there somewhere play. Like, the Aces will set up a ton of really great set plays to get Wilson easy looks. They have her setting the first of a 77 action or a double stagger screen into a back screen for Kelsey Plum. The Sky perfectly guard this play. They're communicating on the initial screens. They communicate really well. Angel communicates on the back screen. Like, don't matter when you got A'ja Wilson and she can go and moss two defenders. Like, it's really that level of comical dominance to me that is hallmark of these special once in a generation players. And A'ja, as I alluded to, not like the best passer in the world, but is quite good. Like, going to see a bunch of help, and she's really good passing off of her gravity. Can hit these cross corner skip passes from the post. Like, defenses understandably have to load up really hard against A'ja, and she's very comfortable making these plays off of her own scoring gravity. She's just so deadly with an empty floor. As if you help off A'ja, she's going to make the simple plays. It's not going to be anything so flashy that's going to get her on SportsCenter, but she beats Cardoso to the middle, or I guess gets good position. Guard comes down to help. A'ja kicks, wide open three. Like, it's nothing crazy, but when you have the level of scoring gravity A'ja has, defenses have to give her so much attention. And I love this play too, with A'ja basically like running pick and roll as the ball handler, showcasing her versatility and Becky Hammon and the Aces' ability to use her in a bunch of different ways, setting up kind of like a stagger horns-ish set, fake pitch into a 5-1 ball screen that Kelsey Plum pops out and hits the three. Like, just beautiful work, right? It's creative offense. It's fun stuff. It's a great maximization of your best player. Beautiful pass there. But look how they're using A'ja. They're running her off of a double stagger as the shooter. Like, A'ja has license to pull this if she wants to, but she realizes that the Sparks are just so worried about A'ja, all eyes on her, that there is a wide open teammate under the basket. She's going to make an easy pass. Another great example of like Klay Thompson-esque, Steph Curry-esque off-ball shooting gravity that Wilson is able to weaponize. And she can, of course, like bring the ball up the floor, puts her back to the basket, DT falls asleep for just a second, and A'ja is able to punish with this backdoor cut. She's as complete as offensive players in this league, or really any league yet. It's a true masterclass watching her operate as a playmaker, an interior scorer, an outside shooter, on and off the ball. She is a one-of-one offensive talent, who also happens to be an incredible defensive player too, which we'll get to. But just another good example of A'ja's comfort level operating as a high post hub. Look at Kelsey Plum back screen. Kelsey's an awesome screener. She's another one of my favorite players in the league. Just really fun player. I love the screen she sets, gets her teammate free. A'ja makes the pass. And Wilson, didn't win Defensive Player of this year, much to the chagrin of Becky Hammon and some of the fake stats. But I think she's, was deservingly in consideration because she is still one of the best defenders in the league. I probably think it was the correct choice to not to give it to someone else, just because of Asia's insane offensive load. She was like 33 usage this year or something insane. It made sense that her defense wasn't as consistently dominated as someone like Fee or Brianna or Esme Magbegor, but she's still one of, if not the best pure rim protectors in the league. Incredibly quick vertically off of the floor, like explosive, super vertical, great timing and coordination on these plays. She's an excellent primary rim protector. She can swoop in from the weak side and block shots. Really deadly when you can have Asia roam off of like more questionable shooters, and Rakia is a great shooter. But point being, when you can have Asia roam in the paint, there's really nothing most teams can do because of how potent of a shot blocker is and how great her timing is. Here she is going against Fee. It's a little defensive player of the year payback there. Asia just totally snatching her chain right there. Quick laterally against one of the best scorers in the W. Swats her, makes her look like a little child. Another good heuristic for these dominant players, making other of the best players in the sport looking like little children. Like even the best players in the sport look overmatched playing against A'ja Wilson. That's kind of the level she's on right now in terms of her comparison to her peers. And her instincts and ability to process and read the game are really special too. She's guarding on the perimeter, or she probably would be guarding on the perimeter. It looks like they're trying to switch this little screen, but A'ja realizes that there's a mismatch here. She sinks down on a hand B, blocks that shot with her right hand. Explosive, reads that processes the game so fast, and it's just this really deadly combination of a player who, and then A'ja's going to go and bully ball on the other end, a player who can move as fast as she thinks the game, right? A lot of players think the game really fast, but they aren't that athletic, or they can move really fast, but they can't really think the game like that. A'ja is one of those rare combinations of elite athletic tools, elite body control, elite verticality as a shot blocker, and also thinks the game at the highest possible level on the defensive end. It's a magnificent combination, and it makes for a really, really special defender. Of course, she's probably maybe the best post defender in the league, or at least she's certainly up there. Not only just defending from the back, but also not like denying position. Angel's trying to get deep post position, but Wilson doesn't let her get anything and is able to deflect this pass and hustles, saves that ball. Like, that is your MVP, your 35 usage offensive engine diving into the stands to get a steal in the second quarter. We just love to see that. Those are things we absolutely love to see, and A'ja's doing it all. Another 1v1 isolation against another one of the best post scorers in the league, Aaliyah Boston. Looks like a child. Can't do anything against A'ja. Her core is so strong, like, and the flexibility. Look at her moving, like flailing backwards, still maintains her balance with this wide base and rises up and blocks Boston and ends up forcing a jump ball there. Such an overwhelming and imposing physical talent on the defensive end. And Wilson at times, like, I felt like was almost overtaxed on defense. They had her doing everything for an Aces team that was not playing up to their standard this year on both ends, but I think especially on defense, where A'ja's like high at the level, contains Sabrina Ionescu, forces a pass, and then just isn't able to recover. That's a great finish by Jones, but I do think this play is indicative of Wilson's ability to cover ground, to be versatile, and just how much they asked of her to do on defense. It's not like she was, one of these like defensive sieves who carries on offense, like a Luka type or anything. She is an offensive carry and a defensive carry all in one. And like the conditioning and her ability to stay fresh and do this it's an incredible athletic feat. Obviously, another job playing like mid-depth drop, opens up her hips to slide with Carrington, blocks that shot. Like, DiJonai is a really damn quick guard, really good getting downhill and blowing by players, but not A'ja Wilson, who can flip and open her hips smoothly and fluidly, explode, and ends up contesting and blocking that shot. She's a great pass lane jumper as well. Wilson will sniff out these like lazy passes in her vicinity. Obviously, great length and explosion here. It's just really hard to operate around A'ja Wilson because she's so prepared for anything that you can basically do. She can do everything on the defensive end, and though like I said, I think it was a correct choice to not give her Defensive Player of the Year. Like, it wouldn't have been bad if she won it. There were just a lot of really elite defenders in the W this year. But A'ja, with that, being the Defensive Player of the Year level the Defensive Player of the Year level she is, while being the best offensive engine in the sport, makes her a one-of-a-kind basketball player. Certainly, I would say is on track to be one of the GOATs of the sport. You know, doesn't have the longevity of Maya Moore or someone like that. But Wilson is historic. What she did this year is really historic, and I hope you learned something new about her and the way that she wins and the way that she's able to eviscerate defenses and punish offenses as well. And I hope you're excited to watch her in the playoffs. You absolutely should if you weren't planning on it before. W is awesome. Liberty Aces is going to be high quality hoops, and you should definitely tap in.